Happy Monday. It's Anita Tequila. Most of you already know I usually host my podcast every Monday. And my podcast is usually based around books written by self-published authors, and in particular audiobooks. But I also podcast and talk about regular ebooks and paperbacks as well. However, I've had a rough couple of days within this past week, and I decided I would stop for a moment and talk about something that plagues the community, especially right now with COVID-19 going on. A lot of people are experiencing depression. I'm one of those people, and I know I'm not alone because I've had several people reach out to me, and I see on social media how many people are posting about feeling depressed. So I just wanted to take a minute and talk about that. I promise I won't take too much of your time, but hopefully you'll watch this video. You'll watch this video all the way through, and my words will resonate and help you understand and provide you with a little bit of relief. And knowing that if you are suffering through depression or dealing with depression, I like to say, you're not alone. A lot of people are dealing with depression and they just don't want to admit it. They don't want to say it out loud. They're scared to look crazy. But this is the day and age that we have to start acknowledging that these are real feelings that we go through. Most people don't fake being depressed. They fake being okay. And people can feel comfortable enough to admit that they have these things going on. They could, it may be a change. It may help with what they're going on. If people didn't want to make them feel so ashamed about experiencing these feelings. Most of the causes of depression, okay, there are some biological factors. Some stuff is hereditary. But for the most part, depression is a result of childhood trauma that people never got help for. They never healed from. And unfortunately, this is where we're at. You can tell someone all day, get over it, let it go, you need to heal from it. But those words, if someone can just heal from something they've been through, do you think that people will be depressed? Like, do you actually think that people choose to be depressed? They choose to be sad? No. These are feelings that are in people. It's embedded in a person's spirit, in their soul. And I'm pretty sure they can just get rid of it by just wishing it away or praying it away. They would. Because nobody wants to live life like that. So what I want to talk about right now is what I think and what I have noticed. I am a psychology major. I do want to help people someday that's going through the things that I've been through or worse. So I'm taking this time to try to embrace that part of me that wants to help people. I'm a humanitarian at heart. I'm not a religious person. I'm very spiritual. I'm very humanistic, and I'm a realist. I like to deal with facts, And one of the things that I've noticed that there's a couple of things that contribute largely to depression, and one of those things is family. That's where it all begins. Family histories of depression. Sometimes people have been through things in their childhood they never healed from it. And that pain and that suffering, that depression, those chemical imbalances, that's what transfers from generation to generation, whether it be by the hormones that's in the DNA, or the person who didn't heal from it may be exhibiting some of those residual effects, and it's translating onto their children. Family is where it all starts. Little do we want to realize, a lot of injustice takes place within families. And we have some family members who get overlooked, and they went through certain stuff that other family members didn't go through. It's injustices inside of families that take place, and those injustices spill out into society. And people who have experience in those injustices, they go through society looking to they go through society looking for retribution from those injustices. They want to go into society and find somewhere to fit in where they belong, because they didn't find that within their family. So it starts in the family and it spills out. I'm not saying that some of this stuff is not historical. It is, but a lot of stuff that's taking place today is result of family curses, and it just carries on from generation to generation. Another thing is society. In society, when people go out there looking for retribution for the injustices that take place in their family, they go to society and try to look for that acceptance, and then that's just another slap to the face when they realize that it's just another form of inequality. The same way there was inequality inside their family, they go into society and they try to figure out, okay, well maybe I'll find my place out here somewhere. They go out there and they get slapped. You know how to say turn the other cheek? They already turned the cheek when they didn't get their love from the family member, right? Then they go into society and they look for the love, and it's just a second slap to the cheek. And it's like a regurgitation of the injustices that take place inside the family. So that's another way, when it comes to history, family, friends, income, and social status. The inequality that goes on across the board, it starts from family and it carries on into society. And it's a historical thing, but these are the foundations of where this stuff starts. Another thing that I think about when I think about why depression is so prominent and the numbers are rising, it's religion. Religion has a lot of parts to play with that. And the reason why the part that I feel religion plays in depression is that religion is very dismissive of human nature. If someone is telling you they're sad, they're depressed, they're lonely, somebody gets quick to tell you to pray about it. That's just like waving it off. That's being very dismissive. Instead of telling somebody to pray about it, how about you sit down and say, well, what's going on? What happened? Did I do anything? Can I do something to make you feel better? Do you need to come? Do you need some support? Do you need me to stop? You know what I'm saying? To come by there every now and then and sit with you for a while, talk about something that just let you vent. But we don't have that taking place. People don't want to deal with it. They just say pray about it. It's very dismissive, and it adds insult to injury because I'm gonna tell you like this. As a child, I prayed all the time. I have 2 journals in my garage full of letters that I wrote to God from a child all the way up until, I hope I still have those. I recently cleaned my garage out and I may have gotten rid. I hope I didn't get rid of it. But there's 2 journals that I started as a child, praying to God my heart out. Talking to God. And none of the stuff I ever, even as a child, I never got any relief. I never received any relief from the stuff I was going through. So all the praying I did, it was like false hope. Sometimes it's like false hope to tell someone to just pray about it. You need to try to get involved. Like, for real, we need people to get involved. And that's why I say religion is a part of the problem, because you can't just tell people to pray about it. You have to get involved. People need other people to support. And that's just where we are with it, and that's just the honest truth. I know a lot of you guys are going to disagree with that notion, but it's the honest truth. Another reason why I said religion is responsible for a lot of it is because religious values, people hold on to those values, but they don't submit to the stuff they say they believe in. They say that they're Christians. They say that they believe in God and all that. But if you notice, many people are going around doing the worst things to other people. And then they turn around and pray and go to church and they say, oh, it's all okay. You're causing injury to people. You're causing people to hurt. And then you're going to get help for yourself. And this person that you hurt is still suffering from what you did to them. So it's like religion is not making people, it's not making it so that people are held accountable for their own actions. They're not accountable for what they're doing to people in the world, what they have done. They're not being held accountable. Because you have it where, oh, I'll just pray about it. I'll just go to church and I'll just talk to my pastor. No. That's why I say religion is the blame for a lot of depression. Because people are on the back end of that, getting hurt, getting abandoned, getting abused, getting all that. And their abusers, their oppressors are in church every Sunday getting healed and forgiven. It's just like, why are we going through this cycle of people being able to hurt people and then just apologizing about it, and I'm supposed to be left here to heal from what you did to me? No, people should be held accountable. And so I took some notes because I wanted to just talk about this. Like I said, I've had a pretty rough, I've been hard on myself. I've been hard on my kids. I've been drinking a lot. And honestly, this is me facing up to my truth. I know that I'm not perfect, but I know that I'm not the only one going through this. And I hope that I can help someone, or that someone can open up their eyes and see that there's some changes that need to be made. There's some things that need to be done. There's a stigma that's out here. Like, if you're feeling depressed, or if you're lonely or you're sad and all that, get over it. If you go seek counseling, oh, suddenly you're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Oh, she doesn't have any faith in God. She must be a devil. And it's just like, no, it's the stigma. So what we have now is people who going around faking it to make it, but that's not what that's not what they're believing in. That's not what they're living as, and it's causing the toxicity. It's the toxicity for me, because it's toxic to go around and say that you believe in something, but you're not adhering to those values that you're supposed to be believing in. It's very toxic. The world can be a better place if if you can't go to a job and violate their policies. They give you 1 strike, 2 strikes, but after 3 strikes you're out, because they're gonna make you say, they're gonna show you, we don't tolerate that here. So why is that stuff being tolerated in the churches? Why is it being tolerated in the families? Why is it tolerated in society? It's no such thing. Like, no, we should not be doing what's trending. I mean, for fun, it's cool. But when it comes down to, like right now, mental illness is waving through this world like it ain't nothing. I just had a rough couple of days, and a couple of other people who have reached out to me, who has always reached out to me, they reached out to me, and I couldn't even help them this weekend because I was just so gone myself. And then, like I said, mental illness and depression and stuff like that, some of that stuff is hereditary, but it's mostly a result of childhood trauma. And instead of us trying to pull answers from the sky, I think that there should be a more practical approach to it. There's a lady, she's a pediatrician, and she's conducted a lot of research on mental illness. And she's come up with this thing called ACEs, ACS. It stands for it's Adverse Childhood Experiences. And so Nadine Burke, she talks about how the exposure to adversity affects the brain development. So from a child, when you're going through certain stuff, the constant sadness, the constant fear, the constant not knowing, the constant abandonment, all that stuff, it affects and it hinders your brain development. So we expect for people to just go through something and get over it, but that's not how our brains are made up. Nadine Burke did a seminar where she talked about how some of the research that she conducted included looking at brain scans from patients that are depressed, from mental health patients, and she was able to see that there's the brain in certain areas from people who have experienced certain trauma is different. There are different pathways. You can see on the brain scan that something in this area right here is different. The normal brain doesn't have these kind of pathways. So it's a science to it, and we want to look at it religiously, and that's fine. But you can't ignore the science. You can't ignore the science to this. I'm a walking, talking testimony to this, and I will not let anyone tell me another day in my life to pray about it and get over it. This may cause me to lose friends, families, or whatever, but this is my truth, and I'm speaking it. And I'm hoping that someone else can be brave enough to speak their truth and come out of their shell as well. You're not crazy if you're going through it. If you've been put through, if you've experienced things through your childhood that you're still suffering from as an adult, you're not alone. And you should never let anyone make you feel like you should just get over it, just heal from it. There's levels to it. And especially if you're not, it's easy for a person who hasn't been through that stuff, or even if they have been through it, but they had support to get through it. But for other people that didn't have support, they had to fight their way through it, they had to smoke their way through it, they had to drink their way through it. It didn't make it any better. And it's not for anyone to judge and try to act like that anyone else is different because they dealt with it in a better manner. Because everybody deals with things differently. So that's what I wanted to mention. Yes, Nadine Burke. So there's a test called ACEs, and she found that the higher the score, the more likely a person is to be depressed. And so when you go and it's like a personality test. They ask you how many times a week do you feel depressed? How often do you feel depressed? They ask you a series of questions leading back to your childhood, and then they go tally up the score. And they have found evidence that prove that the depression experienced by a lot of people from childhood, not just starting from adult or not by being an adult, but all that stuff contributed to lung cancer, brain disorders, heart failure, You know, all that sadness that you feel, it affects your insides. We can't see it. We can see the outside. We can see the tears. We can see the sadness. We can hear the story, but we can't see the inside of us. And when you go through some certain stuff, it affects us on the inside. A lot of the people that Lady Burke researched and she studied, they had a high ACE test, and a lot of them didn't smoke, didn't drink or anything, but they still had high numbers. Their brain still had that same little pathway that they can see on the CAT scan. This area of the brain is not the normal. It's not built like the normal brain. There's something here that's different from this brain, and that was common for people that had those same scores. And so I want people to know, like, this is not something this is serious. With this pandemic going on, we got to figure out ways where we can troubleshoot and we can get through this, because we can get through this. And then, so I want to talk about how people need to be held accountable for their actions. Like, people that's going around, like, it's a lot of people that I know personally, that I know impersonally, indirectly, are so toxic. Like, it's just nothing. It's nothing that they can offer positive to say. If you call them and tell them how you're sad, they go and talk. They'll make you feel worse. They'll you got good news to share. They don't want to hear that. They feel like you're bragging. But after all this time, I'm finally finding a piece of happiness for myself, and all I'm doing is embracing and talking. I'm hoping you'll be happy for me. But you take it as though I'm bragging, when after my whole life I've been sad. I'm finally finding my voice. I'm finally speaking up. I never was able to speak up as a child. I was always told to not talk. I was like, that's talking back. I never was able to speak up. So now I'm able to speak up, and I'm speaking up. So I want everybody if any of my family and friends are watching this, I want you guys to know I will be speaking up more often. I will be standing up for myself. I will be teaching my kids the same thing. It's not to be disrespectful, to be toxic, but it's to be stronger. Because this is what helps you come out of depression. Speaking up, making your voice heard, and finding your value. That's what I'm working on right now, and I hope that anyone watching this experiencing depression will take it and they will get something from this video, because it's not nothing to joke with, and you can't just pray it away. You can't just wish it away. You can't even drink it away. You can't smoke it away. In my own experience, the only thing that I see that works, not the only thing, but for me what works is the support system. You have to have support. And it's hard to have support when so many people think religion is the only way. I'm not knocking nobody else's religious views, but religion is not the only way. And for me, religion has not been the way. Like I said, I've prayed and prayed and prayed. I remember nights crying. I remember writing to God when I was 9, 10 years old in my journal. I remember crying and talking to God. And did he ever provide an answer for what I was going through? He never did. As an adult, I'm still suffering from some of that stuff I went through. I never got closure. I never got healing. So we can't just tell people to pray it away. We have to get involved with people. And I try my best to let people know who I'm friends with, to let them know. If ever you feel the need to cry, you can call me and cry. You can call me and talk about what you're going through. I will listen and pass no judgment. So with that said, I want to disclose something that I found. One of the leading causes of depression. It's inequality. It's inequality. And I have to call you back okay, so inequality, it affects us all. And it's not just it's not just a society thing. It's not just a racism thing. Inequality takes place in society and in families. There's a hierarchy of love, wealth, success, and status in society and in families. Depending on who you are, you get treated differently. You get ahead in life. You get more love. You get more happiness. That has to change. It should be the same across the board. As African Americans, as Latinos, as Indians, people who are considered minorities, we look at society and we see how we're not treated the same in society, right? But do we look into our families and see how we're not treated the same in our families? It starts in the family. We're not treated the same in our families. And if we go out there in society, we're not treated the same. We look around and we start wondering, what's wrong with me? as an individual, not even as a race of people, but as an individual. That's a cause of depression because people don't feel valued. Once you see that you're at the bottom of the hierarchy for love, for wealth, success, and income status and all that, it's like that's a low blow. And people should be treated equally in families and in societies. It shouldn't be a difference when it comes to your loved ones. Everybody should get that same respect. And then the protection, value, love, support. It's an inside job. It starts in the family first. When you start treating family equal and everybody gets the same love, respect, everybody gets valued, and everybody feels valued and they feel significant, then you'll start seeing that those qualities and those attributes spill out into society. People start going into society who feel valued, who feel loved, who feel supported, and then they feel as though they can offer that to someone else. But we have so many broken homes and so many people coming out of their homes, out of their families, and they're looking to feel accepted in society the way they were not accepted in their family, and it's another low blow. That's a major cause of depression. I'm not just speaking for me. I'm speaking of other people who I talk to from my support groups, who I've talked to from other things I've done. It's a common thing for people to feel as though, well, I don't feel valued in my family. I'll go out there and I'll feel valued. I'll fit in this group. I'll fit in that group. They go out there, they don't fit in any groups. No matter how hard they try, no matter how good a person they are, what they bring to the table, it's all this inequality that's taking place that's making people feel like they're not nothing. So that has to change. Let's say it takes a village to raise kids. What do you think that village is? It starts in the family. That's the first village. The little kids in the family should feel that love, that protection, that support. They should feel that. So when they go out into society, they're not looking for that from society. If society turns them away, they know they can always come back to their family, because this is where I have to come and I explore the world. But I come back to my village and I get all the love and support I need. But that's not what's taking place in the world today, unfortunately. And so I just wanted to tell a couple of people who may be listening some coping strategies. If you are experiencing depression, some of the things that I feel will help. Make better connections, and it's easier said than done. With so many people following the latest trends, it's really hard to make that kind of connection because everybody wants to fit into what's trending, and that means that people are not standing for what they claim they believe in anymore. They just want to fit into the next group, and that's where the problem is. Individuality is not a common thing. There's no more individuality in the world, and if there are, they ought to be individually fitting into these groups where they have to adhere to that dress code. They have to adhere to that dress code. They have to outcast one person because everybody else has outcasted that person. Like that's a real major problem in society. That has to change. We have to start supporting one another. We got to start with our families, and we go to our friends, our extended families, and then we take it out into society. Find a hobby. Like, I love to write. I love art. People know I started my YouTube channel and my TikToks and all that just as a coping strategy because, with me being stuck in the house, I have too much time to think about and to simmer on the stuff that bothers me from my past. It's not my current life. I feel like I do pretty good with my own life. It's the stuff from my past that I have never healed from. And being stuck in the house gives me too much time to focus on that. So I started my hobbies. I got back into my writing, my painting, anything that I can do to express my creative energy. It really is therapeutic. Make connections. Join support groups. You're not crazy for seeking help if you feel like you're depressed. You'll be surprised how many other people are feeling the same way you feel, and you may find that support when you reach out and you step outside of your shell. I would say heal your relationships with your family and friends. If you are able to rectify any relationship, by all means, call people and start talking and connecting. If it's going to be a re-injury, I would say don't do it. If it's someone who you haven't gotten closure from and you feel like reaching out to them, that person is toxic and it's going to re-injure you, then I would say don't do that. But the relationships that you can heal and save, I would say start reaching out, swallow your pride, call people and talk to them. and try to get on common ground. And that will that will make you feel a whole lot better. It has helped me. I've done it and it has helped me. And then, music helps me a lot. Dance helps me a lot. Laughing. Watch a funny show on TV. Martin is good. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Whatever else, some cartoons. Watch something that's going to make you laugh, because laughing is good for the soul. Watch funny shows. One last thing I want to say is that everybody wants to feel valued. We want to feel valued in our families. You want to feel valued in your job. You want to feel valued in society. We're all here because we're all human. And humans, we all have basic needs. And one of those basic needs is love and to feel valued. So if you're only focusing on yourself and your family, but you're not considering how other people out here also want to feel valued, and you're just worried about how people value you, you want people to value you, you have to value other people. If you're only worried about your own family and your own self, your own little clan, you're a part of the problem, because eventually you have to face the world. You never know what kind of catastrophic event you may be faced with, and you're going to want people to come together in your best interest. You should have that energy now for people who need people to come together for their best interest. If you see someone struggling with loneliness, abandonment, struggling with depression, you know what I'm saying? Those kind of things is what matter. Reach out. Call them, check on them, stop by, have tea, have a cup of tea. Call them over, invite them over, include people that you care about. Don't just wave it off because you feel like they'll be okay. They might not be okay, and maybe they will be okay, but right now they're not okay. They need you to be a support system for them right now. So I beg of you guys, anybody watching this video, that you feeling overwhelmed, or depressed, reach out to somebody. You can reach out to me. I'm not perfect, and I go through it as well. But hopefully I can also reach out to you. And this is what we need. They say Black Lives Matter, and all lives matter as well. And we have to prove it. I mean, it's easy to say, but let's prove it. And how are we going to prove it? By supporting one another. By being humanly available to other people who need just a little bit of encouragement. To stop passing judgment on others. If they're not hurting anyone, then why do they have to fit into any kind of box? Expecting somebody to fit into a box they don't want to be in, that's another cause of depression. Let people be who they are. Stop putting your expectations on people. You should only expect mutual respect, love, support. But don't expect for someone to live up to your beliefs. Don't expect someone to keep living in your shadow. Everybody wants to shine. And if a person don't feel like they have the stage to shine when they want to shine, and that just could be something as simple as, hey, it's my birthday. Tell me happy birthday. Okay, I'm gonna graduate. I'm gonna graduate college. Just say congratulations. I'm feeling lonely. Well, would you like some company? Do you want to come over and have dinner? I mean, we can't do that now too much, but I mean, there'll be a time when all this stuff will go back to normal, and we'll be able to connect with each other again. And I encourage you guys today to stop taking depression lightly. Stop telling people to pray about it. Stop telling people to get over it. Stop telling people to stop feeling sorry for themselves. People are hurting out here. And there's too many instances of suicide that's taking place. You have to open up your mind and open up your heart to understand that we are all human. Nobody here is perfect. Nobody here is perfect. And I hope you guys have a happy Monday, and I thank you for listening. This is Anita Tequila, and I just want to spread some love today. You guys, everybody's having a hard time right now. It's not just me. It's not just the people that's calling me. It's not just the people who I see on social media posting. It's a common thing. But most people are not brave enough to admit it. If you're brave enough to admit that you're going through these feelings, you should be real proud of yourself, because that's the first step to you helping yourself. You have admitted that you have a problem. You guys be encouraged and encourage somebody else. Peace.